But the law really places a very heavy burden on the state. It requires them to disprove the argument of self-defense beyond a reasonable doubt, and I just don't think they were able to do that.
And Jason, you know, you heard her say she felt sorry for both Trayvon Martin and for George Zimmerman. And there was another part of the interview that we didn't air this hour where she said what really struck her was when George Zimmerman went to that woman's house and the woman had been robbed. I think it was a home invasion, and he comforted the woman. That really affected her. When Anderson Cooper asked her, would you want George Zimmerman to be your neighborhood watch guy today? She paused a long time and, you know, kind of intimated, yeah, I'd be okay with that, because I think George Zimmerman, she said, learned a lesson.
Yes, he learned a lesson that he can shoot a young man that he may or may not have racially profiled because he thought it was the right thing to do. What I thought was fascinating about this interview is honestly how disingenuous it was to me. You can't tell me that you didn't know this was going to be an important case and yet you had a book deal less than 24 hours later. She probably had that in mind before this even happened. I have no doubt that the jury sincerely agonized over this decision. But every other word that comes out of this juror's mouth says to me that because of her life experience and her background, the likelihood that the prosecution would have been able to present a case that was going to get her to understand or empathize with a different point of view is very limited. She said someone died. She hardly mentioned the name Trayvon until Anderson Cooper mentioned it, but she said George throughout the entire interview. It was very clear culturally and personally and emotionally who she connected with, regardless of what the evidence was going to be.
Yeah, and just about the book deal, and I got to get this in. She did initially, with her husband, want to write a book, and she talked to a publisher, but she said she backed out of that deal, and she wants to remain anonymous. So just to make things clear, but initially, you're right, Jason, she did approach a publisher. And Mark, I'll ask this question to you. So the makeup of the jury.